I love that soundtrack. Oh,
It's enjoyably grim
yeah.
and slow.
That's what I loved about Fallout 1 and 2. Just it was a dark atmosphere altogether. It wasn't cheerful, it wasn't goofy, it was to the point. And the music really set the atmosphere.
Aye, and in audio-visual storytelling formats, you really want to have that element in there. Sam, good morning to you.
Indrid,
And
how's it going?
Indrid, greetings and salutations. Thanks for joining us once again for the deep dives featuring Brother Cortex and
Byron Sidious,
the co-host, Byron Sidious. All right. Definitely good to have you here.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to share this to somebody else.
Not a problem. So, a really quick, I'll take the opportunity to do a quick bit of housekeeping and update just to kind of clear it out, get it out of the way. Normally, we've had a pretty good run here the last few weeks. This Friday, however, we will not be available for Culling of the Nerd because yours truly will be out of town. My wife and the kiddos and I are going to be heading out east to the borderland of Wisconsin, to the Kenosha, Wisconsin area to attend her cousin's wedding. And frankly, it's a wedding that we weren't sure was even going to happen in the first place because Tori's fiance, Kevin, just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. We're like, are you going to fucking propose? What's going on? They've been living together for 5 years. It's like, come on, dude. Just fucking get on the knee, hand over the ring, get it done. You've been talking about
already.
Right. You've been talking about wanting to have kids, but you won't have kids until you're actually married. And it's one of those few instances where I was completely on Tori's side in the whole conversation because it's like, dude, get her get off the pot. She even told him a number of times, I'm not getting any younger. Let's do this. Right. It's like, okay, you finally caved.
Well, just to say that alone, I think that's kind of like the best way to come to terms. Be like, hey, yeah, time's not exactly going backwards. Let's figure something out and do something.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I get it. I guess that's like the best way to say, hey, yeah, I think I want this. I think we should do this and get it over with.
Right.
Yep.
Like, I've met Kevin only a handful of times. I've met Tori a bunch. But the couple of times that I met him, he had talked about how he wanted to be a dad someday. It's like, well, then get with the program, dude.
Right.
So.
Oh, well, that's a no for me, dog.
So, yeah, I won't be here for Culling of the Nerd. However, we are going to try to make up for it a little bit. Next week, Brother Cortex has got some extra free time.
Mm-hmm.
So next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be
doing back to back.
Yes. So we can make up for lost time, as it were.
Sounds like a plan to me. But I do have the found footage from Kane Pixels queued up in the back.
Excellent.
So
now, we had last left off at around the 20-minute mark, correct?
That is correct, and that's where we're at.
The scream.
Yep. It was the gurgling, like, sickly scream that we heard.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take these off.
All right. Well, without further ado, folks, here we go. Give me 1 second. I got to full screen that. Otherwise, it's going to look weird.
Now, I'm going to really quick do something that I never thought I would do. I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here, like the show, Share the show to as many of your socials as you think is reasonable and won't get you in trouble for spamming or have people saying, "What the fuck are you doing? This link to these couple of bozos? Why do I care about this?" You care because we care, because all of nerddom deserves to come together around the notion that we are not alone in this cosmos and we're going to be terrified and ripped apart if we don't pay attention. But aside from that, because we could really use a couple extra viewers to entertain with our particular take on these matters.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of insight when it comes to these types of things.
And caring is caring.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, are you ready? All right. Sounds good. Here we go, everybody. Now, I do got to add before we go any further, I'm still wondering if there's more than one entity hunting him.
I don't doubt that at all. I think we have at minimum 2 guardian creatures, although one of them I personally suspect formerly was a victim of falling into the back rooms themselves.
Yeah. Especially the noise that they emitted out. All right. It's so eerie. Oh boy.
The mold. The mold.
Oh boy. There's more of it.
And we're starting to see a little bit more of the classic Backrooms look creeping in.
Hold on. I don't know if you've seen that. It was on the ceiling too.
That weird discoloration in the corner?
There's some in the corner and the ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not just artifacting on my side.
No. There it is on the floor.
On the walls.
Yeah, look.
Yep, right up on that ceiling tile. And you see, some of the rooms like this remind me of a Doom map mod called My House. If you ever heard of that one.
I have. You know what it also reminds me of? I used to play Halo back in the day on PC. I still kind of do. I haven't done it in a while, but there was this like map database for like free maps that people had made. And some of these maps are really good, and some of them are like, what the fuck is this? And it looked just like this almost. Like, not so much with all the furniture and stuff, but empty and out of place. And, you just kind of were like, this is eerie as hell.
A disjointed liminal space.
Yeah.
Where you expect it because of the way it's framed and structured to be a place that's full of life or have some occupants at least. But the absence of other immediately identifiable psyches or personalities and people causes that additional dread to build in.
Mm-hmm. It was like really like the coloring didn't really help either. It was like really dark coloring. I don't know how to explain it. It was like a very dark and dull coloring throughout the map, like rust color and stuff like that in certain spots.
Maybe fodder for future material for us to look into.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just for a minute I was thinking about it. There's this old map that I played. I forget the name of it, but it was an old map, had custom guns and new enemies and stuff, but the map was so eerie. It was something out of nightmares. And me being like, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years old playing it, it's like,
So
geez,
that
man.
is an extra layer of fuck with your head.
That and it felt like a file I shouldn't have. It was
Ooh,
like
yeah.
not that it was like it actually was wrong to have, but it just felt that
It,
way.
it feels taboo.
Yeah.
Like you're doing something not illicit or illegal, but something. It's kind of like having a Ouija board when you're younger.
Yeah, like you're
Like
tapping into something you're not supposed to.
right, where people are like, "Hey, don't mess with this," and someone will
Right.
be like, "Oh, it's just a children's board game. It's published by Milton Bradley." Have you ever looked into the background of some of the people who formed that company? Some of them were admitted occultists. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
It'd be like buying horseradish sauce that was branded as having come from Aleister Crowley.
Or pork from Jeffrey Dahmer. The fuck is that? Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Go back to that fucking
What
statue.
was that? That was fucking weird. Hold on a minute. Are we even sure that was a statue? Could be somebody petrified.
I know that's definitely hewn out of either wood or plaster. But look at the way its arm is
Mm-hmm.
draped to point down. If I'm in this weird Q-dimensional space, and I come across something like this that is giving me a direction to go in, I'm going in the opposite direction
Mm-hmm.
because that is a red fucking flag right there.
Well, Scuba would say, that's enough for me, dog.
Exactly. Scuba, you didn't even have to add another comment. It's still appropriate. And the style of the carved sash or whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is on the front of them almost reminds me of like either a toga or a similar kind of garment or raiment.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oftentimes when it's that drooping, it's reserved for statesmen or for people who were ranking members of ecclesiastical orders. It's just creepy and does not belong.
She was laughing. All right, here we go. Oh, now he's running. That's a little chair. What the fuck? Are they playing music?
Sounds like some kind of
The
rack.
fuck? That's quite the track to be playing there. I kind of dig it. The hell is that thing? Some kind of scaffolding?
Scaffolding, but it doesn't look like it's firmly constructed.
It doesn't even look professionally constructed.
No.
Just trying to mute, damn. The fuck?
And that is why most men die first. Yep.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Ham radios.
Okay.
Yeah. Or no, wait. Is that a
Is that a
soundboard?
mixer board?
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is where my being a Luddite really does not help me any.
Yes. Radio check, radio check. Does anyone copy? Radio check, radio check. Do you copy? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello.
I'm not the only one hearing that, am I?
The testing? No.
No, the other stuff.
Well, yeah, the other like distortion and movement sounds.
Yes. Yes. All right.
You pissed something off. Uh-oh. What the fuck? Oh boy, race car.
Notice how the door has 2 deadbolts there?
Hold on.
Look at that.
The fuck?
2 deadbolts on the interior side with a latch handle. Further proof that this 2-dimensional space does not fully grasp human architecture.
What the fuck is that? Oh, you were fucked, buddy. Oh, shit.
It had
Oh
enough.
my god. Dude, that's scarier than the fucking monster from before.
It's more human-sized.
Ugh. I get chills with like vent scenes like that and something chasing you. Ugh. Was that?
That was a picture of Chairman Mao.
I was just about to say, is that Chairman Meow? Meow. Meow.
Meow.
Meow.
Well, hey, the Backrooms have killed however unknown number of people, and Mao ended up being responsible for a lot of death.
Yeah. Notice. Hey, so wait a minute. I think our hypothesis on or theory on the creature is true. What we had
That it
said.
was formerly a person,
Yeah.
particularly given the fact that the style in which it was moving.
Uh-huh.
Bipedal, upright, arms pumping as it chased down our survivor here, our explorer,
Mm-hmm.
and its intent was clearly malicious, clearly
Mm-hmm.
malevolent,
Very
and
aggressive, very hostile.
there was an almost, from my perspective, from my perception, it looked frantic, like it needed to get at him,
Mm-hmm.
either out of fury or out of, I've been unleashed, now it's time, you die.
Or it was a form of sustenance.
Right, like it could be starving, it could need to eat this guy. But again, the franticness and the aggression, it reads to me more like an animal, a guard animal that has finally had its leash unclipped and set loose.
Almost kind of reminded me of the rage of like the infected from 28 Days Later.
Yeah, the way it dropped down and was scuttling after him on all fours
Yeah.
through that little tunnel.
I
Like
fucking hate that with a passion. Like
like
any game that you ever play and you get in like a ventilation system and there's something coming after you and it chases you in the ventilation. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, especially when it looks obvious that it is perfectly comfortable pursuing on all fours. That's
Mm-hmm.
almost its more native form of approach and attack.
Right. I'm actually surprised he got away with that couch when it was blocking the entry.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I have a theory. Do you remember the guy that we had seen in one of the videos that was molded against the wall?
Yes.
I wonder if that was him or somebody that was afflicted just like him.
But has had time to grow and evolve.
Well, essentially, but I mean, you remember the guy that was stuck to the wall. I wonder if that's like the beginning stage, like the infected stage before the final like transformation into the big mold monster or the rebar mold monster, whatever that
Okay,
was.
kind of like when it
Like a
was
beginning stage.
right when it was found, sat slumped down against the wall. If that was its larval incubation period,
Mm-hmm.
what we're seeing right now, what we just saw chasing this guy, it's like a middle stage, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually it will become the rebar beast.
Yep.
I think that's actually sound. I think that's solid.
Because I don't know if you were paying attention, but the color was very darkish. Like,
Brackish, like
yeah.
tar.
Yep.
Tar with a couple of streaks of some kind of lighter coloration, but not
Yeah.
much.
There was like something like hanging off of his head too. Probably something close to like cordyceps or something.
Yeah, it was definitely misshapen.
Yep. All right, let's get down to business. That lighting over there with the table. Wait a minute.
Very smoky back room.
Hold on. There's not even a light over there in that table area. Where's that light coming from? Or there? Wait, yeah, there is. Never mind. It didn't look like it.
Over the table, yeah, there's like that one panel of light.
Yeah, but look at it now, though.
I say now it's just there. The light's just coming down.
What the hell?
We've been there before. The fake township, although it looks like they've got a fake cityscape behind it now. Do you remember the fake town with the military style explorers?
Well, look at that big sign there.
Going up.
Yeah, but I don't think that's somewhere you want to be. Yeah, for sure, Scuba. Oh, we're back here.
Once again, back to what looks like classical backroom space.
Back to the stomping grounds.
Makes me wonder, like, had they crossed from one two-dimensional building to another, and now they're back in the first one where they began?
I mean, it happened like that before in the other back rooms. If you do recall, he went to like another level. It was more industrial looking, and then he came back here because there was like an exit door.
Right, and he foolishly went through the exit.
Mm-hmm. The fuck? What is that?
He was there before, early on, when he moved the bookcase and stuff.
I was talking about that little thing that's sitting there. Unless it's just like a deformation of the back rooms.
Could be a glitch of the environment.
Whoa. I would not walk towards that. Oh, hi.
Okay. Here we have an example of the earliest form of our victims.
Yep. Like, hey, buddy, you want to start a fire so I can have something to defend myself with?
Right, because sharp, pointy stick, not enough.
No. I think most things, if not all, I would defend with fire.
Well, fire is a universal force. It consumes.
Is that a drill gun sitting on the table?
No, James. Even a big sword, I don't think is enough to
Just
stand
flip, flip.
against most of the things that that the Backrooms has to offer.
Oh boy. There's clothes on the ground. I think I just seen more mold.
Yup.
Okay. Okay. Initial thoughts seeing that I would have ran. Here's my thought process. If that happened to them, it could happen to me.
Yeah, that might be sort of, hey, here's a quick look ahead at your future. And to be fair to Moss Hive Network, who says he likes how it's labeled as sci-fi horror, it's got elements of both primary genres steeped within. We got footprints here.
That's
Tracks
what it
here.
looks like.
And
Buddy, I don't
part of
think you're alone.
no, definitely not. Someone has been through here before, and is preparing a welcome of a sort that you don't want any part of, or someone was here already and is no longer with us.
Is that whiskey?
I wouldn't be drinking anything out of this place.
Yep. The fuck is that on the ground? Somebody take a shit?
Bad dog.
It's a shoe. Or a boot.
Embedded in the floor.
Doors open, also nope.
Yeah.
Very 70s style basement. Well, take it back. Looked like it.
Who's talking?
Good question. I've had one of those before. Fish on the wall, the talking
The
fish.
Billy
Yeah.
Bass.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sam, the statue being kind of 90% buried does leave one wondering how long has this place been here? And does
Mhm.
time have the same
Wait, what the fuck?
function?
Hello?
Why do you have your back towards the fucking stairs?
The stairs and the
I'm
echoing
sorry.
voice.
I don't know where I am. I need help.
You're on private property. You need to leave.
I'm trying, okay? I don't want to
This is
be.
the guy who keeps coming around here trying to talk to my boys.
What? No, my name is Robbie, sir. I'm not trying to cause you any trouble. I'm just lost.
My family's trying to sleep. Leave, or I'm calling the police. If you really need help, the station's a quarter mile down the road.
Listen, I can't. I've been walking for like 9 fucking hours, man. Where the hell are we? I can't even see you. Actually, do call the cops. That's fine. Just please help me out here. Hello?
Where are you?
What?
Where the hell are you? I just looked outside and I don't see you.
I'm not. I'm in like a living room with a fish on the wall.
What? What? Is it some kind of game you're doing? Are you having a laugh over this?
I'm not. I'm not. It's just, it sounds like you're on the other side of this wall, but this door goes nowhere.
Are you in my walls?
What? I don't know where I am. I've been trapped in this goddamn hell building for hours, and you're the first actual person I found. So can you please just, I don't know, get a hole in the...
I don't understand. How is this possible? I can hear you, but
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just need to go home.
why can't you leave?
I just told you there's no fucking exits or anything. This place keeps going on forever. Can you just show me where the exit is and I'll be out of here?
Okay, all right, listen, we're having some of the wainscoting here redone. I can open up the wall here, it's still loose, but I need you to move slowly.
Oh, I just realized the volume was turned up.
I want to see your face. Take things from there.
Thank you. I think it's...
What the fuck? What? Oh my god. Oh my god.
What just happened?
Hello? Hey, what happened? Hello? Oh God, please!
What just fucking happened?
It's been a while. It's been a little while. Why? I was thinking I'm running out of time to talk to a lawyer about my job. I keep thinking about this moment when I was 7. It was at that park back home when the windmill thing with the face used to scare me. Summer, the sky was... I don't remember the sky. It was hot out. Gary and Linda were there. You were there. I think you just got that orange bike that got stolen. And one of your friends were there. You can see your faces so clearly. I just want to go home. I just want to go home.
Got news for you, buddy. You are home now.
That is home.
I'm sorry for all the stuff that I did and said. It's gonna fix it.
I'm guessing the battery died. What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Not all
I
right.
hope
It was hot out.
I gotta play that again.
Gary and Linda were there. You were there. I think. I think you just got that large bike that got stolen. One of your friends were there. You can see your faces so clearly. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I'm sorry for all the stuff that I did and said. It's gonna fix it.
the last thing he said there was was he saying I was going to fix before it cut off?
I think so.
Whatever
This is a
it is,
tragic ending for sure.
he intends to fix. It ain't getting fixed.
If he's in Canada, there's medication plans.
Oh yeah, in Canada they've got all kinds of medical plans, including to end yourself prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
Although, if your options are to be devoured by whatever lives back in these spaces versus taking a medication vacation of a permanent nature, then one has to consider and weigh their options, weigh their choices.
Euthanasia.
So, yeah. James,
I don't know what to think.
I was fascinated by that final room as well, particularly the false staircase, because from the camera angle when he first goes into the room, I thought, and with the echo of the voice that was speaking, the homeowner, quote unquote, as it were.
Yeah, but he said if somebody up there, and it was like, that's a basement.
Right. And the way he came around, it looked to me like stairs leading up, but then was it just me, or did it then like get flush against the wall?
I have no idea. I didn't really get a good look at that part.
It was like
I'll have to go back and look.
At least that's what it looked like to me, was a kind of an optical illusion. Yeah, see that right there? That starts with a step there. Where's that banister? Doing very bad.
But he never panned the camera backward towards the stairs, really. Oh, it looks like it goes up.
There was a set of stairs because he just did that swip. All right, my bad. That was my mistake.
That was my thing. Why not go upstairs? Like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You see Moss Hive's last comment here?
No. Byron looks like he's in the back rooms. It kind of does. I'm not gonna lie. The tone of the light there, it fits. It matches.
Perhaps there's a reason why I have a fascination with these videos.
Right. Trying to drag all of us into it.
I'm not here to examine and dissect. I'm here to sell you on a vacation to Async Corporation's finest vacation destination. A space where you
Speaking
can...
of Async Corporation, hang on a second. They did have this come out 6 days ago. It's an hour long and 32 minutes.
a new Async product
That's
video.
what it looks like.
Backrooms.
But it says channel is inspired by Cane Pixels.
Okay, so inspired by, but not directly.
Yeah. But I've seen that pop up on my feed the other day.
That's kind of neat. And just going hand in hand with it gives me a sense, almost
Krill. I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is the Rift part.
vibe.
Yeah, a little bit like an SCP vibe.
Right, okay, we've begun this mythology. We're going to go ahead and open it up now to other contributors, which would be a fantastic, a fantastic communal project. It's part of what I love about the SCP Foundation lore and mythos is that, yes, there have been a few people who have tried to claim ownership over it. Thankfully, every attempted claim at ownership of the SCP archive has failed. And thank goodness for that.
I think Kirill's a little special here. We got 8 people watching.
How many?
8.
Oh, that's not bad for us.
No, not bad at all. We appreciate everybody coming through, though.
Always, and it does seem from what I have seen, going back and visiting the channel, days later, is it would seem that these dives tend to pick up more views in the aftermath, after they've been posted for a couple of days. So while we do appreciate the live viewers, we also appreciate the folks who've come later on.
Yep, the replay viewers.
To replay, to re-listen. Although these deep dives require a little bit more visual attention on the material that we're analyzing or hypothesizing our way through, and using our tendency to conjecture. So if they don't see the chat, they may not know exactly what we're talking about, but that would just be more reason if you're listening later on or watching.
Well, I do bring up the chat up on the screen, so when we reply.
Okay, good.
So I'll give a bit of context. I'm on non-paid staff and I'm
Sam,
biased.
yep.
Yeah.
I'm not paid staff, I'm biased. Well, we appreciate that you're here with us whenever we come on, Sam. There were a number of elements from prior Backrooms examinations and explorations that we have seen now inserted and incorporated into this third, most recent found footage. We've got the weird crimson lighting exterior space, like a recreation of a real community or a living space. As to what happened there at the end, it sounded to me like whoever's home it was that our explorer came into contact with audibly, that his personal domicile was either butted right up against an access area into a backroom space, or he has a backrooms portal situated in his home. Let's not forget that at the very beginning of this found footage, that it began with this explorer going into his own basement and discovering a broken down section of brick wall that led into this space that he has fallen into and been exploring for however long he's been trapped down there.
Right.
Yeah, Sam, kind of like, yeah, like a vortex. Like there is a
Sucks people in.
barrier right there in one of his rooms, which could potentially, because we have talked, I've blathered on at length about two-dimensional spaces and how when they butt up against normal human mortal places in our physical reality, that they will take on and mirror or mimic aspects of that real physical location in our reality in order to allow for the assimilation of materials and life forms to come into that space. I'll be right back. I gotta hit the bathroom. Give me one moment.
Okie dokie. Kirill, I have no idea what you're talking about. So yeah, I mean, this has been a blast picking apart the Backrooms found footage number 3. It's been pretty nutty. The different, I don't want to say apparition, but the entity that the victim had come across, yeah, that was very, very humane, or not humane, but human in appearance when it came towards him. Which I think that's what made it more creepy because I can't really say we're used to it, but we weren't expecting a human amalgamation of a monster per se.
Right. It preyed upon not only the jump scare, the sudden terror of you're being confronted now with someone or something that wants to destroy you, but something that is vaguely familiar. We tend to be more terrified of predators and creatures that seem similar to ourselves. And I would posit that a large psychological component of this is we know ourselves, for the most part, what we are capable of in a conflict scenario. If you were to take something human-like and add into it the factor of it isn't entirely human, it may look and move human-like, but there is something otherworldly as well about this presence, about this life form. There is no shared understanding. So it may be capable of physiological feats that we're incapable of ourselves, that would render it far more vicious. And we don't understand
All right.
its perspective.
This person's just spamming the chat, so I'm putting them in timeout.
All right, no problem.
I appreciate the chat engagement, but not of that caliber.
Yeah, not if it's just going to be random nonsense.
Like he's just putting like random emojis and stuff in the chat.
I see that, like the little head or whatever the hell that's all about. Like the tomato and the balloon and the knife, that I almost would say is thematically appropriate, given the creatures that show up here in the back rooms.
You're right. I get it, but I mean, if you're gonna be here, at least like talk about something or bring up a point or do something of that nature. Don't just sit there and spam emojis in the chat.
No, particularly for the deep dives, because we are trying to analyze and enjoy the mythology before us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we had the mold. We have the guardian creature that is horrific and quite fast. We had that weird tunnel connection from one building to another, one structure to another.
Yep.
The scarlet lit streets of some facsimile of a human residence. the abutting space. So a lot of elements that we've seen in prior Backrooms videos, particularly from the originator of the series, Kane Pixels, culminating into a classic example of proper and engaging Backrooms material. I'm fascinated that there wasn't at least some other element of Async Corporation or the teams that have gone in to explore previously, but we did see glimpses of other human clothing, possibly signs that someone else had been there before, particularly when he got into that homeowner's backroom connection space where there were footprints, there were foot tracks, as though someone had already been exploring this space. Also, the fact that he fell through what looked like a solid portion of flooring down that initial ramp into the office room space, which we saw very much in the exploratory videos of the back rooms, where the explorer with the camera just fell down a fucking hole in the floor. So we have that touched upon with that reference. So even though we don't see
considering physics are not really a thing, but they are, but they're not. It's
right.
Very choosy.
It's non-Euclidean physics, which is its own special brand of horror. A non-Euclidean space theorem was largely introduced to us through the experimental horror works of folks like H.P. Lovecraft and Jacob Blake and Simone de Beauvoir. You have these folks who are mythologists, who are scholars and occultists, who touch upon subjects that, while oftentimes dismissed as crack pottery, we nevertheless find ourselves pulled towards. The French have an expression for it. I can't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head, but it's a weird human instinct to feel this pull towards dangerous situations. Oftentimes it's referred to as the call of the abyss. I don't remember the exact French translation, but it's a phenomenon that occurs to people who find themselves up on high elevated places. Sometimes they'll feel this call to lean over and fall, to jump off the ledge. It's referred to as the call of the abyss. It's like a suicide switch in our heads that some people are more susceptible to than others. I have to wonder if the people who find themselves prone to falling into the back rooms may be experiencing a different version of this call to the abyss.
Yeah, instead of them volunteering to do it, they kind of just get sucked into doing it.
Right, it's you have been volunteered, as they used to say.
Yeah, it's like an indirect volunteering. Yeah, I don't want anything that's got poop on it.
Fucking Frenchies. Would you care for some Grey Poupon?
Yeah, no, I like to go take a poop on the toilet. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty nutty, I think that creature, they encountered was probably really the kicker for me. Like, that was insane. Just, how we were describing it, it was so human-like. That's the first time we've seen something that is resembled a human, but is a creature.
Right, because even the stalker creature of the soldiers in that CGI presentation from the back room is fought against was quadrupedal. It was very much kind of a hunter attack dog kind of thing. You could tell there was no way in which it was human shaped. Once it dropped the facade of puppeteering that human woman. Once that charade was busted, it just got down on all fours and gang stalked, and came right at the soldiers. There was no trying to pretend it was vaguely humanoid. This thing,
Right.
it was running at him on its legs and pumping arms to gain motion, to gain speed. That's a humanoid or hominid approach vector. That's hominid movement.
Meaning it had to be a victim that had fallen into the back rooms and somehow been infected, which I still think my theory and your theory was with the mold. You know, we found the one guy that was encased in it.
Right. The spores had modified him, which would
Yep.
lead to what Scuba is saying, that this thing was gangly and it was creepy, but it still had the basile movements of an
Yep.
upright hominid.
Yeah, that. As soon as they got to the fucking like the little crawl space vent styled area, and it was right behind them, crawling on all fours. That, oh my god,
Thrashing after him.
yeah.
And that
That
was what,
always tends to like get me right there. Is like being chased in like a crawl space like that.
right, a confined environment where you can't dodge, you can't duck, you can't weave. You got to just move forward and get the hell away from its reach.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is another part of particularly what makes it extremely effective from a tension standpoint, is when he looked back, the way this thing was skittering after him was violent. It wasn't
It
just
wasn't normal by any means.
right. It wasn't just that it was trying to move through the space. It was thrash moving so that in the event it should blindly happen upon him in any way, shape, or form, it was going to cause damage. That even its simple ambulatory function was additionally a function of causing harm.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that can try to harm while it is doing the simple function of movement is especially dangerous and threatening. That is, it is pouring its entire essence and concentration into not only getting at you, but ripping you apart while it's getting at you.
Yeah, but to be fair, we don't even really know what it would have done.
Bam.
For all we know, it could have been trying to, come at him and conform him, or infect him with whatever happened to the victim.
Right, create more spore buddies. And Sam, you are quite right. It was not coming from belly rubs.
Fuck no. Maybe my kitten, but definitely not that thing. Man.
Yeah, no belly rubs.
No belly rubs, but all the belly rubs.
So, are we thinking there might be more coming from Mr. Pixels after this?
That's quite possible. I would assume there would be.
Right, because this is very open-ended. And again, I have no qualms with that. Some of the best weird fiction or speculative horror, cosmic horror, has no clear defined end. The random banjo band at the end.
Yeah.
That
was something I was kind of laughing at the end. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
I have a hypothesis with that that's just kind of surface level. I have to wonder if this was a case where whoever was recording, they were reusing a previously used tape or disc to record on. And so there was still
I'm assuming it was a tape, considering
Yeah.
how it was being recorded.
Right, and the kind of screen tear and the frame shifting. So it's probably a tape that had been previously used at some other venue or some other function.
Well, that and the quality of the video right at the end, especially kind of, gave that off.
So that's why I think we have that little random bit of banjo band at the end. That yeehaw!
Yeah, I mean, it was a good touch, though. I mean,
Yeah, and it gives a whole new meaning to the term. Y'all ain't from around here, are you?
well, that, but I mean, like the fact that a beat, like a tape recorder was being used, like it kind of fits in with like the time.
Right. The setting and framework of the
Yeah,
Backrooms, which was like mid to late 90s, early 2000s.
right.
Or most of your found footage, it's camcorder, it's on a tape.
VHS,
Yep.
which, if I'm not mistaken, VHS is actually coming out with another movie.
Oh, the VHS series. That's right.
Yep,
I've only ever seen the first one. I know there's like what, 4 of them.
they're good.
The first, I really liked the first one. I don't know why I had never went back to the others. I have a tendency with horror film franchises or series, particularly if they're newer ones. I'll check out the first one and then I'll just kind of let it wait and simmer until I check out any more. Yeah, Sam points out all the sound equipment too, including the ham radio, very reminiscent of the 90s, even late 80s, early 2000s. So you have that kind of framework for your world setting. World building wise, this is a fantastic series of analog horror.
Yep, it's called VHS Beyond Trailer, or VHS Beyond. I said Beyond Trailer, but there's a trailer I'm looking at.
Okay, I will have to go back and revisit that series.
The release date will be October 4th.
Okay. It also puts me in mind of the book that I just finished reading yesterday.
Oh, so next week. Cool.
The last few days with I'm doing up my formulated review on right now. These Backrooms, actually, this book reminded me a lot of the Backrooms material that we've gone over thus far. So I mean, I ended up I liked the book, but there are certain things that I wish it had done better. But that's for another time. I tend to be a bit finicky when it comes to my reading material. I get a little anal retentive.
Anal retentive, he says.
I can't help it. It's how I am. I nitpick, particularly with speculative and
choice of words of anal retentive.
Yeah, I know. But that's the phrase. That is the phrase.
Yeah. Still funny.
That is our Backrooms found footage 3.
We'll have to come up with some other stuff to go over, which I'm pretty sure SCP Illustrated's got some stuff.
Yeah, we haven't done an SCP in a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe look at what we can touch upon there. Do we want to do any kind of chit chat, just kind of shoot the shit at this point?
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's kind of what we're doing now anyway. I'm just kind of looking at Steam.
Yeah, no,
while talking.
Hey, we're not going to be here Friday, so we may as well do a little touch of Calling the Nerd now while we're here, since we won't be available to do our usual culling on Friday.
Yeah, I had the chance to play Forever Winter yesterday. It was pretty fun.
I saw that. You died very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, those things just kept popping out of the floor. What the hell are they?
I have no idea. They're some type of husk cyborgs or whatever.
Yeah, and they just kept generating, just kept popping up. Like, what the fuck? How are you supposed to survive?
And then I was dealing with my fucking kitten jumping around the back, and she knocked over this board, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? It was like really loud. I'm like, it scared me, and then I was like, oh, it's just her being her.
What do I need to shoot at?
Yeah. But I mean, I got the hang of it pretty quick,
That's cool. Yeah, I was only able to check out like a little bit until you respawned and started going back to your extraction point after doing that water container delivery, and then I had to cut out. But man, I tell you, it looked really beautiful.
Oh yeah, the graphics are top tier in that game.
Yeah.
Even though
go ahead.
Wild. Some of the gunfights between the other like militaries fighting each other, like here, hold on. I'm gonna show off a little bit. I got to play here. I played some Space Marine 2 last night with a good buddy of mine. Cool. Let me get in here, getting the good stuff. Oh shit. Yeah, like these husk things you don't want to fight because they literally hoard you.
That moment just made me think of Army of Darkness. This is my boomstick. The next one of you primitive fuckheads who comes near me
is my boomstick.
Yeah. Fucking ass.
The double barrel shotgun.
Yeah, you just get swarmed, it looks like.
Oh, I pissed that thing off. That's not good. Yeah, it plays a lot like Metal Gear Solid. I really don't want to piss that thing off. So, like, when you kill something, you gotta run. Otherwise, they're gonna call out to their friends and come at you.
Oh, good God.
And, like, look at this fucking thing that's right next to me. That thing will fuck me up. Hold on. There was, like, this big mech that was guarding the area. That's not good. You'll see it here in just a second. Because it's guarding this, like, pipe that I gotta go to. Yep, there it is. Like, right in the right there. That's not good.
That's, like, right in your way, isn't it?
A little bit. I really don't want to piss that thing off. Like I said, some of the fights in this game, they're absolutely wild. Not the fights that you engage yourself, but like the fights that happen in the game itself, like between the other armies.
The larger warring factions.
Yeah. Alright, extracted there. So I got some footage in here where they're literally shooting at each other.
Let's see.
Some really cinematic stuff here. It's so cool looking, though. I'm not gonna lie. It's so cool. But, I mean, a majority of the game, you're literally just sneaking around, grabbing stuff, and getting out of dodge. You can shoot stuff, but you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry. It looks like your best course of action is to try and remain unobserved.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where that is. That doesn't tell me anything. Yeah, I
On
mean, a
the
lot of the
game,
fights in here are just insane.
on the games front, I have
Okay, this ain't gonna do much.
recently discovered something for me as a retro gamer that is rather fascinating. There's a handful of small development and programming, like indie game teams, that are literally designing, programming, and manufacturing their own games in cartridges that are actually not backwards compatible. They're fully functionally compatible with old systems hardware. We're talking Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega Mega Drive. There are teams that are making games for the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance, and they're using these like prefab cartridge shells. And they're actually putting the program boards in them so they can connect into and be played by old systems hardware. And I've gone to a couple of their websites, and they're selling these games for full retail price. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You're asking for like $50 or $60 for a 16-bit game or a 32-bit game. And at first I was a little skeptical, like, why are you going to charge that much for a game that is for an older system? But I then did a little bit more digging and discovered that these people they're paying out of pocket for the actual manufacturing of these game cases. They're paying to assemble them and to put together artwork for instruction manuals, for covers, the cases themselves. There's a lot that they're pouring personally into these small independent projects. So they are trying to cover their costs. And going through and reading the documentation on their back end, because they offer a full breakdown analysis of the cost of producing these cartridges, these new games, quote unquote, on an old format.
Yeah.
They're lucky to make $1 if they sell a cartridge at a full $50 or $60. They're lucky to get $1 after they take out their expenses and costs.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but who's going to spend that much money on a cartridge?
No, not much of anybody these days. No, that's for sure.
Right.
It's also why they do have, or several of them have, digital download versions of these games that can be played on emulator programs, and they are selling those digital versions for like $10. So it's like, okay, that tells me that the biggest amount of the cost is in the physical manufacture of the hardware, or the cartridge itself, the case, the artwork involved in printing and putting together the instruction manuals.
Right.
So the bulk of the cost is in the actual physical production of the case or of the game itself. The program itself, if you're able to sell it digitally for $10, you're wiping out 75 to 80% of the cost of making this game by just making it digital. I would love to see more indie games, more indie projects made like this that get widespread support, particularly when the explanation that these folks make for why is it so much cheaper on digital, they come right out and say, well, because we don't have to go through the buying the cartridges, buying the boards. We don't have to do any soldering of chips onto a board that connects into the Super Nintendo or the Famicom or the Genesis or what have you. Without all of that overhead in the actual manufacture of the physical product, we can afford to sell you the digital copy at a much lower cost. Which puts me in mind to ask the following question. Why then do so many of these AAA titles ask for the same amount of money for a digital version of a game versus having it on a disc? This is just to me. It screams, "Hey, you're being screwed. We're all being screwed by these games that come out either digital only or digital and physical are both available, but they push the digital because they don't have as many expenses or overhead when they make a sale on that title in digital form. They also have the advantage of if it's all digital, they can remove it, wipe it out, destroy it, get rid of it off of servers at their whim. As opposed to if you
Yeah.
have the physical disc, you can at least say, hey, I paid money for a physical thing and you didn't give me what I paid for.
Speaking of which, give me just a brief moment here.
Sure.
But since we're talking about that whole thing, all right. So like Steam here, right? The game Spec Ops: The Line. I brought this up before. I own a copy of this game. This game was taken off the store. This one right here.
Why?
That I'm still unsure of, but it was taken off the store. It even says it right here on the notice.
It's my understanding that there was some brilliant sort of subversive storytelling in that title. That it really fucks with you psychologically.
100%. There is a scene in the game where you use white phosphorus via a mortar and you end up friendly firing civilians. And yeah.
Yeah. And like I've seen some video footage, some gameplay footage where there's like a rail shooting sequence like 3/4 of the way through the game, and the main character you play as is like, wait a minute, we've already been here, because like doesn't the game starts with that exact same sequence? Like there's some trippy psychological shit going on in that game.
100%.
And the fact that there's a sign with like a U-turn and it says go back. And I mean, when I first saw that in like ads for the game and trailers, I had kind of there was something in my head that like an itch, like something's wrong here.
So apparently it had to do with licensing.
Ah, shit. Okay. Fucking licensing.
Several partnership licenses related to the game are expiring.
Hate it when that shit happens. But I remember thinking when I saw the initial screenshots, there's a U-turn sign and it says turn back. The game is set in the Middle East. Why is there a sign printed in plain English?
Well, I mean, English is a relatively universal language for trade. It's a trade language.
It's a trade language, but this sign was also, it's in the middle of nowhere. What was it doing there? And that it to me is, this is out of place. This is not
psychological.
Right. Yes. And that's like, okay. But again, I never played the game myself, so I didn't have access to seeing personally firsthand what's going on there, just analysis from later on.
Right. Well, here's one thing I kind of like to show off here for our video game enthusiasts. This is somewhere I happen to look at quite a bit. It's called ModDB, Mod Database, obviously. And this is like your mod emporium for most games. It's like a lot of different projects that are being worked on. And I just love coming through here because like I'll look at different projects that are being worked on or indie games that are being announced, or what have you. And I like to give some heavy emphasis, like check this place out. A lot of good stuff here. A lot of different games that have mod support. Even Diablo 2. But yeah, definitely a place to check out is ModDB. If you haven't heard of it before, definitely check it out now.
Boy. And if you're like me and you're an old head and you prefer your games to be a little on the older side, there's also a beautiful site that Brother Cortex will, I think, agree is a great place for you. It's Good Old Games, GOG.
GOG, indeed. They have a very vast classic gaming catalog. A lot of different stuff on there. I mean, from old RTS games to what have you, you name it.
I think
Whether it
that's how
be RTS or, something along the lines of even like Crusader No Remorse, to name one.
and
You
I
ever played
believe
Crusader?
no, I have not, but I believe they also have, if I'm not mistaken, they have the Legacy of Kain series of games on there.
They do.
Okay. I've been meaning to, for a long time, go back and finally play the Legacy of Kain series. I've had, how much as I despise sometimes YouTube's algorithm, sometimes it weirdly will recommend or suggest things that are really in my area of interest, particularly story and character analyses, essays, and philosophical musings from various people who have played games and have tried to view them as through the question of can a video game be art, and can it have deeper meaning? Can it be analyzed and looked at as something literary? And a few of these essays have convinced me that I need to check out these games and play through them myself to get a better sense of, is this something that would be up my alley? And it certainly seems so.
Yeah, I mean, just like the releases of the classic Resident Evil games, 1, 2, and 3 are on GOG.
In their
So,
original form?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
They did add a couple new things to them, like Resident Evil 1. If you beat the game, I think on like hard, you get like a submachine gun for Jill and like a squad automatic weapon for Chris.
Obviously, you can just kind of go through and
Yeah,
have
you
fun.
just go through and mow
Family.
everything down. Yeah.
I love it when games include shit like that. I especially love it
Good little reward.
I especially love it when, and this was something that classically used to be much more frequent, through like from the age of Nintendo all the way through PlayStation 1 and even PlayStation 2 and N64 and even some GameCube games, where if you played the game enough or completed task or mission X, Y, and Z, you would get a reward in game. It came preloaded. You didn't have to pay anything extra for it. And it was a little reward from the programmers, from the developers to say, hey, you've spent X amount of time and effort with our artistic endeavor. We now want to give you something that's just for funsies. Just enjoy it. Have a laugh. Have a good time. Enjoy this. And thank you for patronizing our product. It's a fantastic thing to do. One of my favorite examples of this was for it's kind of a niche series of games called Fire Pro Wrestling. I had and loved playing Fire Pro Wrestling on the Game Boy Advance and Fire Pro Wrestling 2 on the Game Boy Advance. If you play through the quest mode or the storyline mode in either of those games, when you finish the game, you unlock all of the possible moves for the character type that you play through the story with. So if you play through with a roughneck wrestler, you get through the story mode, you unlock all of the roughneck moves for if you create your own character. If you play through as a power type, you get through the quest mode, you unlock all of the power type moves. And it does that for each of the 6 types of wrestler. Now, yes, it's just a silly wrestling game. But to have that much freedom unlocked within the game, you don't have to pay extra for it. And then you can create your own ultimate wrestler. It was just, I don't know, it was fun. It was just goofy fun.
You're talking about classic games. I mean, it's not exactly really classic probably to you, but it is to me. I was thinking about doing a little playthrough of one of my favorite games, is Pikmin on the GameCube.
Pikmin?
Yeah,
I never played it.
it's so fun. It's
I,
so goofy, but it's fun.
I've heard it was like a really charming game, but I've
It
never even
is.
play video of it.
Yeah, it's basically you get like your little minions and they like gather like supplies to make more minions or Pikmin, if you will. And you have to go through the game. And there's like these big bugs. They'll eat them. And you got to fight them.
That actually
It's a
sounds really
good
cute.
time.
That sounds fun.
It is. It's very much so.
And that's what I come back to with the back rooms, with the video games, with the Culling the Nerd, with Star Wars, with everything we talk about. The vast majority of the time, we just want to enjoy these things and spread our love of this material and say, here it is. It's already awesome. We're going to explain to you why we think it's awesome and what we love about it. That's what
And
we
none of the
really
modern stuff that ruins it.
right. We try to we'll touch upon the ruination, and we do have our grumbles, and
Mhm.
can point out, hey, you know why this isn't working right now? Because you're not doing this that worked before. The thing that made it awesome. Like go back to that, the stuff that was awesome. You know,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
right, trying to make Sonic the fucking Hedgehog a serious hero, world-saving protagonist.
Right.
He's just a little blue dude who runs really fucking fast.
That's all you need to know.
His
He eats
antagonist,
chili dogs.
right, his antagonist is a great big fat person who is a maniac who tries to shove innocent little fuzzy woodland critters into robot shells. Why? It
Give
makes
me
like
one
no sense.
second here. I'm gonna
It
bring up
makes no
Pikmin.
sense.
It was a game on the GameCube I absolutely loved when it came out.
For GameCube, I will only say the following. There's one game that deserves a remake, or well, not a remake, a remaster, a 1-to-1 remaster, and god damn it deserves a sequel. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem.
Why does that sound familiar? Eternal Darkness.
I
I
mean,
feel like I've played that before.
Silicon Knights is no more, but god damn it, Nintendo owes us another Eternal Darkness.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this before.
Yeah, that shit needs more.
Isn't this the one where you like hallucinate and you start losing limbs and stuff?
Yes.
Yep.
It fucks with you so hard. Screen goes to black. Your memory card is being reformatted. Nothing's actually happening.
Yeah.
Or, you'll go to save it and it'll say, successfully saved. Now turn off the game and live a real life. It's like, what the fuck are you people doing?
Right. Well, here's Pikmin. That was really blurry. Hold on.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm gonna move myself upstairs. It's almost time for me to get it going.
Hang on. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting like this shitty gameplay of the game, but like, hold on. I'm getting like all these really blurry ass videos. So I'm just gonna fucking do this instead. Because I keep getting really shitty videos of the game. But yeah, Pikmin was an amazing game when I played it. Yeah, you'd build like an army and go through the whole game, and
Hey guys, it's
you had
Anime
to get
Case
back to your
Swingberg.
ship. You had to fuel your ship at like before nighttime. Otherwise, it's game over.
Huh.
And today we're going to start Pikmin.
Resource management and survival.
I was
Yep.
13 at his mansion, and while traveling through space, my ship was struck by a meteor. To make ship, and the Pikmin are about the size of a dime. So we're super
Yeah, you'd
small.
have this like
And
ship that
what
you had
is
to
this weird little chopstick held up flower thing. We're
bring
gonna
all the
find out
Pikmin to and
something mysterious came out.
fuel
A
the
strange
ship.
thing has appeared before me. I have similar stuff to Hokote. Do they eat giant onions there? Like, do they have normal sized food for us? Who knows? They haven't really shown much of Hokote in the games. We're mainly on this mysterious planet. What is this glowing little dick? Extraordinary. When I plucked the sprout, it turned out.
Yeah, you'd build like an army of
Stuff like
them,
that.
and
I'm
you'd
gonna use
fight
these
things
to
like
try
the
to find
other
my ship
monsters
parts
that
and
are
find
roaming
this
around.
prize. Looks like we've produced.
You had to get
most
back
of my loot.
before nighttime, or
Astonishing, the onion is so
like I
more
said, game
seeds.
over.
The small red pellet the Pikmin harvested after the inky pellet got fascinated by ants colonies and stuff. It zooms in a bit when I pick these guys. Let me grab these before we go. The one time I found, they'll actually sprout into flower Pikmin, or buds and then flowers. So I like left them there and waited for them to turn flowers, but it takes
You also
the
had to do
better
math
part
and
of,
make sure,
a
like, you know,
Pikmin day.
basically, like that says 5, you need 5 Pikmin to pick that up and take it over to the ship.
Oh, nice.
Which I think is about 15 minutes. So it's perfect for video length. So we're
Yeah,
gonna
it looks fun.
carrying that pellet. There's my ship there.
Yeah.
Eventually, we want to move over here to what
And I'm not
appears
even
to be
usually
some
good at
type
these
of
kinds of games, but it
storage
looks
device
enjoyable.
that maybe humans left.
I'll
over.
definitely
They
do a
never really say
playthrough of
if
this.
is Earth, but
This is just
lots
gonna
of
be
hints
something I'm
and
just gonna
stuff
chill
you can
and
find.
fucking go to
The
town
frame
with.
rate, I mean, this game holds up all right. The graphics aren't great. It's it's a 12-year-old game, but it still has a nice style to it. And the frame rate reminds me of like British. I think English TV. I think they film with like a lower frame rate, so we get kind of like it's definitely a different look.
He's not wrong. A
American
lot of
TV, I've noticed
BBC
when I watch
programs
videos,
film at 48 megahertz or frames per second, is my understanding.
Surprisingly. Okay, so we've got 10 Pikmin now. I should get
What
those
causes that kind of weird
I think there's another one over here, right?
film
I can actually
filter
throw them
look,
up onto, like, a
even
ledge.
when they use digital
Grab that button,
methods of
and
filming?
you only need
Because
whatever
they film at a
number it says
lower
on that to
frame
carry
rate,
them, but you
or
can
rather
put
they
more,
export
like
to a
that,
lower
and
frame
have
rate,
two of them carry
it
them.
has that kind of
Makes them carry
fuzzy
faster, which is
look.
pretty cool. Is there like there's like a slide up there?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's anything useful.
But that's an aesthetic choice.
It is like a
And
tutorial.
speaking of aesthetics, I really like the cartooniest.
Which isn't
Ooh,
bad. Like some days you get multiple ship parts, so you probably won't
that
run
is
out of
neat.
days. But that like turned a lot of
Yep.
people off from the game.
Whoop.
'Cause it is a bit stressful.
I can hear the little one waking up unhappy from her nap, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap on my end here, brother.
Yep. Sounds good, man. I figured you said we should shoot the shit, so I figured why not. But yeah, Pikmin, man, definitely gonna do a playthrough of that.
I
It was
like
a very
that.
fun game.
It's a really, really neat looking title.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Boy.
But I think I'm gonna play some more Forever Winter.
Oi, oi. Sounds good, brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for my part, I'd like to thank you for joining us once again for our exploration into the back rooms. And it seems like yet another person has explored that terrain and is not better off for it in the aftermath, which not a shocker given what we know the back rooms to be like. But I think it's great that we have been able to get through yet another Kane Pixels presentation and have more material to build this mythology. I do think that in the future we should consider hopping over to that Async Corporation channel.
They've got a lot of stuff over there.
That's awesome. That is awesome because it allows us to continue our own kind of hypothesizing and looking into, all right, we've been centered in the primary material, kind of like exploring a codex.
Yep.
We've been looking at and analyzing the source material. Now we have the opportunity to go and look at auxiliary or supplemental material and compare and contrast where we might have disagreements or where we might say, hey, I think they got this right or wrong, or holy crap, I hadn't thought of that. Because it's very possible they've caught on to something that you and I may have missed, which will allow us to further analyze, hypothesize, and help in whatever way we can to build up and encourage that lore, that mythology. There's nothing saying that our take on these things is absolutely correct. Nothing says that. Even I wouldn't say that.
No, a lot of it's just us, with theories and hypothesizing whether or not if, it is true. But I think with what we said about the creature being human, I think we're pretty on the money.
I think we're pretty good there. But isn't it also just fun to partake in going along through this and seeing what we can come up with?
Absolutely.
For me, at least, it's a lot of fun. Dives into that whole realm of weird.
Yeah, and then we get to geek out on it. So
yeah, we get to be dorks. It's fun shit. But anywho, Brother Cortex, I leave it to you to walk us out.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all coming through. If you can, be so kind, drop a follow or like. Well, I shouldn't say follow because that's Twitch. Like, share, and subscribe for more. And we will see you all next week for our back-to-back from Wednesday to Friday. But until then, guys, take it easy. We're out of here. Peace out. Much love.
Cheers.